Jai Opetaia, welcome to the Paramount ecosystem. You know, one of our favorite sons here in the UFC from Australia is one Thai Bam Bam Tuivasa. He is infamous for the shoey. Which side of the fence do you sit on here? Like, are you down for a shoey?
I'm always down for a shoey, bro, but after we win the fight, so...
Do you have to spit in it, or is that just him taking things too far?
Yeah, nah, I'm not into the whole spitting in it, bro, but, you know, to be honest, I've never actually done a shoey. So, well, yeah, maybe first time in Vegas, huh?
Yeah, I think that's what we got to celebrate on Sunday. Glad I could put that into the world. Let's talk about your opponent here. Odds are very much in your favor, but as you know, you were fighting elite competition. When you look at Glanton, does he have more of a puncher's chance? Because when you look at the odds, that may be what they're sort of reflecting, but I don't think that's at all the case.
What do you think the case is? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I think between his last loss and his most recent win, like, he's gotten so much better at cutting off the cage, going to the body, things that he's going to need to do if he's going to corral you. I guess, how do you assess his skill level and the kind of challenges that he presents?
Man, he's tough, you know, and, you know, these guys, when an opportunity comes like this, we expect the best version of him. You know what I mean? This is his chance to change his life and become a world champion. So, you know, when I fight people, and the stuff that's on the line for these fights, I expect a better version that I haven't even seen yet. You know what I mean? Because I've been in their shoes. I've had to make these sacrifices, and you know I've had to step up to the plate. So, you know I'm prepared for 12 rounds of war. You know, and whether it goes 12 rounds or not, which it probably would, because he's a tough, durable opponent. So, you know, we just adapt and we got to win every round.
You suspect it'll go 12 rounds. Will that be satisfying to you? Like, I know after your last fight, despite getting the finish, you weren't satisfied with the version of yourself that you put out there. Like, what is a peak successful Opetaia going to look like on Sunday?
You know, well, I'm curious to see how aggressive he comes out. You know, how it's hard to go off, you know what I mean? We just got to box smart, do our thing, you know, and a lot of people underestimate my power, you know, but at the same time, we don't want to chase that power and try and hurt him too early. But, you know, I think once we're in the ring, you know, because I box so well, they think the skills what separates me, but I've got good power to be able to handle my own as well. So it's, you know, we'll see what happens.
I want to come back to that power, but I know you're something of a belt collector. Unification fights are important to you. Undisputed status is important to you. What will it mean for you if you become the inaugural Zuffa Cruiserweight champ?
Man, it would mean the world. You know, I'm looking, you know, from this day on, I think, from this fight on, I think the Undisputed's going to, you know, to become Undisputed, you're going to have the Zuffa as well. You know, and it's, I'm honoured to be the first, you know, and well, I still got some hard work to do, and I still got a job to do on Sunday before this happens. You know, I'm not, you know, count my chickens before they hatch, but I've done the hard work, you know, and I've got the ability to win this fight. You know, now it's just about executing the game plan.
What will the status of your IBF championship be after? Like, I know there are obligations there, too, that we have to consider.
What do you mean?
So you win this fight, you're the Zuffa champ. I know you want to be unified. I know you want to be undisputed. What happens next with the IBF title?
Man, to be honest, I'm not looking past March 8th. You know what I mean? I've got a job to do. We're in fight week now. You know, all these imaginary fights and, you know, these dream matchups, they all sound good, but unless we take care of business, man, it's all just a dream. So we are here to get a job done. We are here to go to war. You know, losing, we cannot lose. You know, it's not an option for us. You know, to tick these boxes and move in direction, you know, we have to get this done on Sunday.
You had a quote I saw that really stuck with me. It was about sort of the highs of the fight, and you said that high lasts a very, very brief moment, and that you don't see your opponent as the enemy, and so there comes a lot of, I guess, like humanity in the dichotomy between you and your opponent. You talked about the power that some people think you don't have, but your last opponent ended up in the hospital, blood clots, brain bleeds, vertebrae damage. What goes through your mind when you hear that? Because it's a hard thing that you do in there, especially when you have goodwill towards the person you're fighting.
It is, you know, but, you know, I respect this sport. you know, and we live and die by the sword, you know, so we know what we're getting ourselves into. Every time I step in that ring, bro, I'm risking it, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going to happen, you know, and if I end up in hospital, I end up with a broken neck, then this is the choices I've made. You know, I'm not going in there thinking, you know, I'm going to walk out safe. You know, I'm willing to die by that sword, so whatever happens, happens, but this is fight time. We know what we're getting ourselves into. You know, to the person outside the ring, it might sound crazy, but this is the life we have chose. So with what comes after it and you know, the injuries, the broken bones, the broken faces, the broken ribs, this is what we choose. We know that this is a risk, so no whinging about it. This is what we choose every day. We wake up and we go to the gym and we prepare for these battles.
And shout out to Sin Cara, of course, wishing you continued speedy recovery. Very quickly, boxing has such a rich, deep history. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of boxers?
Mount
That's
Rushmore
four,
boxers.
since for the non-Americans like myself and Jai over here.
Damn. 4 boxers, eh? You're going to go Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, so many different fighters, you know what I mean? Crawford, Oleksandr Usyk.
Good list. I know you're not looking past this, but you hear rumors bubble up. How high on the list would it be if we could get Usyk over here for a fight with you?
But to be honest, I've been getting asked a lot about Usyk and stuff, and I feel like it's a bit disrespectful to him. You know, I'm not here to, you know, chase someone for clout. You know, like, do you honestly see that fight happening?
Candidly, I think there are definitely options between now and the possibility of that happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and call someone out just for a camera or clout. You know, I got more respect for that, and I got to respect the sport too much. So, you know, I'll take my hat off to Usyk. But in saying that, you know, obviously if that fight did come, it's the biggest fight in the world. Obviously you take it. You know what I mean? But I'm not sitting here calling someone out just to get some views on social media. So that's not what I'm about.
One of the things that stuck out to me most about your partnership with Zuffa is just like you have been chasing the status of unified and undisputed, and it feels like you're kind of getting the runaround sometimes. How do you channel that into something productive for you that gets you closer to this goal, with Zuffa being one of those steps towards getting the fights you want?
Hey, look what they're doing. Look what the people here that were surrounded by are doing. Usyk's fighting a kickboxer at the pyramids in Egypt. That's crazy. Then you got Dana White putting on a fight night at the White House. Think of that. Like, this guy's making things happen, you know what I mean? Like, these big fights in crazy places. Well, I'm just chasing the unification fight, you know what I mean? Like, we'll do it here at the Apex. Like, I'm sweet with that. Like, but you can tell, bro, everyone that's been around this boxing, like, it's Zuffa Boxing now, but, you know, the Riyadh seasons, the Ring magazine, these guys have been changing the sport the last couple of years. Like, look at the track record. You know, all these Riyadh, remember the first Riyadh season? I fought on that, you know what I mean? There was so many superstars on it, and then ever since then it's just changed the directory of the sport, you know what I mean? It's been a crazy couple years, you know, and I feel like it's not going to change anytime soon.
Jai, before I let you go here, I have a bit of a legendary heavyweight boxing gauntlet. So I'm going to give you the 2 names. You let me know who you think would win, and we'll see who kind of survives the gauntlet, all right?
Okay. So you're saying win in the ring, not like...
Yeah, in the ring, yeah, if they were to fight, all in their primes. And we'll kind of do like King of the Hill style, all right?
Ah, too easy.
Okay, Rocky Marciano, Joe Frazier.
I don't know, man. Maybe Joe Frazier.
Okay, Frazier, Evander Holyfield.
Oh, but I'm a massive Evander Holyfield fan. Eh? Yeah, I think Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield, George Foreman.
Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield, Joe Louis.
Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield, Oleksandr Usyk.
What a matchup that would be. Oleksandr Usyk.
Usyk, Mike Tyson.
Oleksandr Usyk.
Usyk, Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis is the GOAT. I still believe he's like one of the best That'd be such a good fight. Such a good chess match. Respect to Lennox Lewis. I'd go Lennox Lewis.
Okay, well, good. Then this will be a little bit more interesting. Lewis, Tyson Fury.
Lennox Lewis.
All right, last one. Lennox Lewis, Muhammad Ali.
I personally believe Lennox Lewis wins the fight, but I'm still going to go Muhammad Ali.
That's the X Factor. Jai Opetaia ahead of your Cruiserweight title fight, Zuffa Boxing for this Sunday. Thank you for your time, brother.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.